While King Herod was plotting to kill Jesus, his own household manager's wife was quietly funding Jesus' ministry. Yes, the money to spread the gospel was coming, in part, from inside the king's own palace. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand why this story matters for your business, your money, and your mission today. We often read the Gospels and focus on the miracles, the teachings, the crowds, picturing Jesus healing the sick, multiplying loaves, walking on water. But rarely, almost never, do we stop to ask, who paid the bills? The disciples left their jobs, Jesus traveled constantly, and there were expenses. Food, lodging, care for the poor, resources for ministry. So, who financed it? Luke 8 gives us a stunning answer. The 12 were with him, and also some women who had been healed of evil spirits and diseases. Mary called Magdalene, Joanna the wife of Chuza, the manager of Herod's household, and Susanna, and many others. These women were helping to support them out of their own means. Joanna, a woman of wealth married to Herod's chief of staff, quietly bankrolling the most dangerous and revolutionary movement of her time. But it gets even deeper. She was the wife of Chuza, the steward of Herod Antipas, the very Herod who executed John the Baptist and mocked Jesus before his crucifixion. Joanna likely lived in privilege, influence, and comfort, with access to wealth, household resources, and political connections. Yet she chose to follow a controversial rabbi, traveling teacher, and miracle worker. And not just as a spectator, but as a funder, investor, and patron of the ministry. This was no small act. Herod's court was watching. Every coin she gave, every day she followed, was a quiet rebellion against the empire she lived in. And here's what's easy to miss. Joanna wasn't commanded to give up her wealth. She chose to leverage it for something eternal. Now let's bring this into today. If you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, a leader, especially if you're a man, listen carefully. We often separate business from faith, telling ourselves, my work is over here, my church life is over there. But Joanna's story challenges that split. She shows us that your resources, your influence, your wealth are not obstacles to the kingdom, they are opportunities for it. Joanna didn't walk away from her position. She used it. She didn't renounce her wealth, she redirected it. For Christian men in business, here's the challenge. Are you just building a personal empire, or are you quietly funding the advance of God's mission? Are you accumulating or investing in eternity? Today's world needs Joannas, men and women willing to say, my business is not just for profit, my wealth is not just for comfort, my influence is not just for status. We need people who see money as mission, who ask, what can I fund that will outlast me? What movement, ministry, or mission can I push forward? Joanna was part of the supply chain of the gospel. Without her, and others like her, the story might have looked very different. So the question is, are you part of God's supply chain today? As you look at your business, your resources, your bank account, ask yourself this simple but confronting question. Is any of this reaching beyond me? Because at the end of the day, God doesn't need your money, but He invites you to use it for something that will never fade, never collapse in a market crash, never disappear in a recession. Joanna's legacy still echoes across centuries. She gave, and the gospel advanced. So here's my challenge to you. Will you be a Joanna in your generation? And if you're ready for an even deeper challenge, stick with me for the next video, where we'll explore why the early church's biggest test wasn't persecution, it was prosperity.